Hello there, today we will be doing a video ranking on Undertale characters' death in the genocide route. We will be going over the characters that has different death animation and reaction, which is pretty much the main characters like you expected. Anyways, I've decided to rank their deaths because I think it would be interesting and you barely see people doing it. Feel free to leave your ranking down below and it's my list and it's just my opinion. With that out of the way, let's get her ranked. In last place is the Mad Dummy, or should I say, the Glad Dummy. Regardless, you may be confused of why this dummy is here. Well, they technically have a different reaction here, if you can call that a reaction. For those who don't know, Mad Dummy in the genocide route is full of emotion thanks to how awful you are, and finally feels for her body? I'm not entirely sure what happened with that dummy though. Her death is kinda disappointing since she didn't say anything like a normal Undertale battle. However, I can't give her credit because it's more realistic to not talk after you just died. Sure, you do have time to say your last words, but you would most likely get shocked that you just got stabbed or attacked by Leishues. Moving on to the next person, we have... Coming in the 8th spot, we have the Goat King himself, Asgore. Asgore himself also didn't say much when he lost all of his health. He really only said, "Why you?" Then Flowey kills him. This does make sense though, because Flowey warned Asgore about you, was even crying. At least described by Asgore though. Even Undyne warned Asgore about you and to absorb the souls, yet he was just staring at his flowers. However, there is a reason why Asgore didn't attack him. It's because you killed so many people that you are a monster yourself. Which is why it was so caught off guard by you killing him, which by the way, the game did it just for you. You might get surprised assuming you're playing at a blind route too. Overall, Asgore does have a good death here, but I feel like the others are more emotional or make you feel worse as a person. And number 7 goes to the leader of the Spider Bakery, Miss Muffet. Muffet herself doesn't say anything, neither does her spider say anything either. But her spiders did go check out where she stood and got a flower and dropped it for her. This can potentially make you feel awful about your action, despite the fact that she could have rambled on, that she could have escaped with Alfie and turned Alfie into food of some sort. I don't know what that is, but it's food and she's a seller. Aside from that, the small spider dropping a flower where Muffet does that is a pretty cool death in my opinion. But other than the fact that you feel guilty about your actions of killing her, this death makes you go, okay, look, it's another death. I'm supposed to be sad or something. Anyways, enough rambling. Let's move on to the 6th person. And in the 6th place is the man with high defense, Mettetan NEO. Like everyone else, he shot him and he stated his last words, which were, "Guess you didn't want to join my fan club," and then just blew up. Although I'm more interested in this death in the failed genocide route where you didn't kill everyone in Hotlands. His lines were more of him mentioning that Alfie should have had more of a higher defense, but that's not what stood out to me. What stood out to me is that Mettetan knows that you don't have the full intention to kill everyone and be a monster. Which, by the way, before defining genocide, Mettetan was saying how you were not just a threat to the monsters, but to humanity too, aka the humans. And Mettetan won't let that happen, which aged pretty poorly. Anyways, the failed genocide fight against him, he explains how you were holding back and how he died happily knowing that humanity is now safe. I quite like this death more than all the other ones that we, well, not all the other ones, but most of the other ones that we will talk about later. However, there is one problem though. This is a failed genocide death, not the real one. So for that reason alone, this is going on number 6. In the near middle spot, aka number 5, is the caretaker of the ruin and the other goat, Toriel. The first boss that he fought against in the genocide route, where you one-shot her and then she came to realization, which is that she wasn't protecting you from the monsters, but protecting the monsters from you. She then proceeds to laugh, which just might be a way of coping of what just happened. Then she died, becoming the first boss death in the genocide route. What makes this more impactful is that us, the player, goes out of our way throughout the game to find and kill everybody. If Toriel never challenged the player to see if they could survive, the genocide could have been stopped. But hey, I could be wrong, you know? The 4th death that we will be talking about who wants to join the Royal Guard is the Great Papyrus. He was arguably the only monster that doesn't want to kill us in some way or form. I'm not saying that Toriel tried to kill the player, but just wanted to test the player, which ended up before dying. Anyways, Papyrus sees that we are doing genocide and decides to stop giving us puzzle and doesn't even attempt to kidnap us. He just tries to give us a hug to see if we're so good or not. Now, if you decide to kill Papyrus like a psychopath, then his body would turn into dust like everyone else's. But his head won't turn into dust. Despite Papyrus being ahead, he still believes that you can quit your journey of killing everyone and everything too. Honestly, I found his dialogue to be quite sad. You killed a pretty happy guy who tried helping you out and even offered a hug just to be beheaded, and still tells you that he believes that you can be better, which I didn't. I just kept on killing everyone and everything and fought against a fish guard, a spider baker, the king himself, and a elite skeleton. With that out of the way, we can now start off the top 3. Kicking off the top 3, we have the fish lady who is racist to us and possibly patriotic. Anyways, it's Undyne that has the 3rd best death in the genocide round. She starts off as disappointed because she already died, but by apparent determination, she went into her undying form, which gave us one of the best battle theme in battle in Undertale. Going back on track, she started laughing because her and Alfie had a backup plan if this was going to happen. She then explained that Alfie is watching this battle like the stalker she is, and if Undyne lost, then she would evacuate everyone in Hotland and get the king to absorb the 6 souls, which he didn't do, and then claims that the world will live on as she is melting away from determination. And then the battle is over. I find this dialogue to be pretty cool, especially with the fact they're not ready to give up yet, and that Undyne melted away, which is kind of dark. Overall, killer dialogue, killer theme, and we killed the fish. Honestly, the number 1 and 2 spots were pretty hard because they can go either way. However, I have deemed Flowey's death to be the 2nd best genocide death. After he killed Toriel, Flowey mentioned how you're not really human and decided to team up with you. We don't see him again until you get to the new home where Flowey tells us his backstory, what happened with him and everyone else. I won't go into depth and explain the story, but in a nutshell, he's a dead goat who is now Flowey. But he has no soul, which means no emotion either. He was only left by determination, injected by Alphys, and Flowey discovered his new identity and was scared at first. Again, won't go into detail, but Flowey basically uses new abilities to help others and for the greater good. But he got tired and decided to try something new with his reset abilities. This involved him killing everyone the same way we did, and he felt good doing this. He decided this was funner to find new ways to kill them or possibly torturing them. Again, Flowey eventually did get bored until we came. He thought of us as his new playmates, because unlike the others, he can never predict our next moves. Anyways, near the end of his story, Flowey gets scared of us because of possible reasons like our face, and he decides to back down. He appears one final time, finishing off Asgore and telling us that he would never betray us, and that he would always help. He was so scared that he gained emotions while asking us not to kill him. Then we killed him the darkest way possible, which is just slashing him again, 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 and again. Writing a script is making me considering my ranking, but we're here. So our number 1 is Sans. He has the best genocide death in all of Undertale. This is probably because of all of his tricky attacks, which require focus on the fight. Sans will try the introvert attack and fall asleep, which is where you kill him. He tried dodging and then finally got killed. He also made a whole debate if that was blood or ketchup. It could really go either way for me, but hey, feel free to discuss that in the comment section below. Anyway, Sans told us not to say it, he didn't warn us, then proceeds to stood up and tried going to Grobies. He then went off screen and asked Papyrus what he wants and proceeds to turn us off screen. But we did hear him. The reason why this is number 1 is because of self-identification being the hardest boss, the possible blood, Sans I love Grobies, and because you are guilty of all your sins in this game. So that will be all for this bit. You thought this video was over? No. You see here, the real winner of this list here is actually you, the player. And the main reason why you're in the top spot is because you deserved it. You deserve to die. The reason why you deserve to die though is because you killed everyone. You killed everyone inside of the ruins. Snowden, Waterfall, and Hotlands. You even killed all the bosses I mentioned earlier, such as Mad Dummy, Asgore, Miss Muffet, Mettetan NEO, Toriel, Papyrus, Undyne, Flowey, and Sans. You killed them all effortlessly, and you even summoned a dead kid who is now punishing you for all the sins you have committed, and even deleted your world. And it's all thanks to you. It's not Carl's fault that she's deleting your world. It's all your fault for doing genocide. Who's the real monster here now? Now you gotta face the consequences of your action, and Carl's now gonna ask you a question whenever you want to delete the world or not. If you say yes, then the world will be simply deleted. However, if you say no, then Carl will delete you and the world. The world is now gone, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's all your fault. It is forever gone, forever and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever.